The big news that I want to get to, though, is the carbon tax. Yesterday, you came out with an announcement. John Rustad countered with that, accusing you of being an opportunist and that kind of stuff. And then even more so, Andrew Weaver came out this morning and saying that he trusts, and he's a climate scientist, former leader of the Green Party, that he trusts John Rustad more so with the climate than he does you, and he'll be supporting John Rustad. What do you say to that?
Well, it's hard to know what to say to British Columbians who are concerned about climate when someone who is running for the leadership of our province is a climate change denier. John Rustad appeared on a podcast with a man named Jordan Peterson. He said that we're all carbon beings, and because we're made of carbon, carbon couldn't be a pollutant, and therefore climate change couldn't be caused by carbon pollution. I mean, this is what Mr. Weaver spent his entire life as a scientist advocating for. John Rustad is proposing to ban from classrooms climate science textbooks so that kids can't learn about climate change. And one would assume Mr. Weaver's textbooks as well. British Columbians who are worried about climate change, they want to see action on climate change. They shouldn't have to choose between making the rent, buying groceries, getting to work, and supporting action on climate change. And we're making that possible for them. If the federal government removes the backstop, we'll take the carbon tax off of everyday British Columbians and ensure that big polluters pay, so we keep taking action to drive down emissions.
How do you reconcile the fact, though, that Andrew Weaver, who wrote a paper on climate change and then was part of that won the Nobel Prize, him coming out and saying he trusts John Rustad more than you?
I don't know. It's hard to know. I think it would be a good question for Andrew Weaver. For my part, our government is committed to climate action. We believe that climate change is real, unlike John Rustad. We're committed to making sure that there's a price on carbon for big polluters. But at the same time, we don't think that families should have to choose between the affordability challenges they face and a government that is going to seize this economic opportunity. Like just in Kelowna, you've got Hexagon Purus there. It's a company that makes engines using hydrogen, zero-emission engines. The economic future of our province, 150 new jobs with their expansion there in Kelowna. The economic future of our province depends on us being agile on the low carbon future to be competitive around the world as governments move in this direction. And that's just not what John Rustad's offering. He's offering to tell those people who would buy our products like the Hexagon Purus hydrogen engine that they're idiots. Climate change isn't real. Why would you buy a hydrogen engine? And that undermines jobs and opportunity in our province for families, and I just think it's the wrong direction.
Yeah, I don't want to get too far down the hydrogen thing, but Ballard Technologies, which is a BC company, just there's some trouble there. They just the COO and the CFO quit this morning, and the stock chart doesn't look very good for it. So the future in Ballard was one of the world leaders in putting buses and different things out there. But like I said, I don't want to get too far down that road. I did an interview with Sonia Firstino, leader of the BC Green Party. She also said early on, the current structure of the carbon tax is punishing the people that can bear it the least. And you just came out yesterday and saying that you would change it as well. Because, the oil companies are making tremendous profits, and yet we seem to have been, for the past few years, targeting people at the pump. And then we live in the second largest landmass in Canada, and most of the stuff that we buy and has to be shipped across Canada. And you'll see on a lot of on the bill of lading, there'll be a carbon tax extra cost there. So people don't only just pay what's at the pump; they're actually paying for that carbon tax in everything they consume.
Yeah, I think the challenge. First of all, I agree with Sonia that climate change is real. We need to take action on it. We have consistent positions on the carbon tax that it shouldn't be on everyday British Columbians.